So I was given 4 of these pots, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to make some terracotta babies to put into these? Well, I call them terracotta babies. So I took the pot and I traced around on a piece of paper, and then I also made sure because it's got some thickness to it. So this is my idea. I'm going to make a little terracotta baby that with her arm that's going to go up and over and hold on to the edge of right here. And I guess it's kind of like a succulent maybe, but I'm got her body drawn out. This is how I make the other version of my pattern when I know what I want and I just going to start drawing it. And then so I got her 2 arms, got her main head, and then her little face with her little hair. And I don't know what type of eyes I'm going to do. If I can get away with it, I might use the doll eyes that I've got. If not, I don't know, we'll see. I might cut felt out. I haven't decided yet. And then I want to make these little almost teardrop shapes, just about teardrop shape, and I want to layer them up and down, and I want to have a whole bunch of them hanging off the side of her head, and that's going to be like the planty succulent part, or at least that's what's in my head. So once I get my ideas, I do rough sketches, as you can see, to try to keep getting it until it's about the way I like it. If I'm too precise at this stage, it takes too long. And then once you get this, you're going to want to basically trace over it all the different pieces. So I got traced over all the different pieces here. Now I like using a light box to do this because it makes it a lot easier. See, I got my little battery pack, which I need to charge it. It's half dead. There's my light box. So you put the paper down, and then so you could see, and you could trace over your lines really simply. And you just move all the pieces around, trying to get them lined up or draw them over. So you get the idea. So from here, you want to cut this out, and then you want to cut it out from the felt that you're going to use. I almost said fabric, and I'm like, well, it's kind of fabric, but it's technically felt. But I don't know how many of these I need. I know I need 2 per. So I need 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these with 1 cut in the middle, and then 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these. Which I guess I could write that on there, but I don't know what I'm going to do about the pattern, if I'm just keeping it for myself or if I'm going to make it available. I don't know. But this is what I did. If you want to draw out something similar for yourself, you can. Where to get these pots, I have no idea. I mean, I was given these, so I'm going to make use of them. Alright, so I got all my pieces cut out and kind of in a mess over here. But the first thing I need to do, so I made 2 bodies. And then we got the arm. So the first thing I need to do is attach my arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the blanket stitch around the arm to attach the arm. I'm not going to worry about this part yet, because when I sandwich the 2 bodies together, that's when I'll end up, this side of it, I'll end up blanket stitching it closed. So to start, I'm going to sew around that arm. Alright, so got my arm on the body. So the next part I'm going to do, so these are the pieces of the other arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, my hands in. So the seam, I'm going to sew it together like just from here to here, and sewing these 2 pieces together. That's the next step. Okay, so you see I got that side stitched. So it kind of looks a little weird, but that's kind of what you're looking for right there. And then here's the same piece, but it's not cut in half. So now I'm going to, my fingers will get out the way of the camera, huh? I'm holding the phone instead of putting it on the tripod this time. So basically, if I can get it to cooperate, if you fold it out, stitch, let me use the needle, maybe less likely my big fat fingers. So you're going to stitch from here all the way around until right here. I'm looking through the camera versus actually at it. So start, well, one of these, you want to start from either side, from here all the way up and around to there. But you're going to leave this part open. We're not going to sew that together. So we're just sewing it from here all the way around to there. Alright, so now I got this part done. So because I stitched the two pieces together and I got the seam on the inside of what I did here, it's going to help it so the arm kind of helps to, it's going to go over the side of the pot a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of stuffing in this. Okay, so I got some stuffing in it. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the back side of the body, put the two together, then I'm going to take this arm. So you want to make sure that when you're sewing it, the part that you have the two pieces together, you want them to go upward as you're sewing this together, because you want this to go over the edge of the pot. So this is the top of the arm and this is the bottom of the arm. We're going to sew it like this. So the two pieces is facing up. When you're attaching it, you're going to take this and sandwich it inside of the edge of your body at the close, not all the way to the top, but close to the top. And then we're going to blanket stitch all the way around. Now usually what I do when it comes to pieces like this, I'll start the blanket stitch with two of them together, and then I'll only blanket stitch this side to this side, but then when I get to about here, I'll flip it around and continue the blanket stitch when I got here, and I'll go back up. Now I'll either tie it off or I'll push the needle through and then continue my blanket stitch all the way around. So it just depends on how I'm feeling and what I think is the better thing for me to do at the time. So we're going to put the two halves together plus the arm, but we're going to leave the top open. We're not going to close the top off. Okay, so I started it, I did one stitch, I put in my arm, I blanket stitched the top piece to the arm, and then when I got here, I'm going to flip it over. Now I'm going to blanket stitch from here up to here. Okay, so I stitched all the way over, and now I stuck my needle from this side through the arm to poke it out in my stitch at the end. So I'm going to pull it through and continue connecting it to here. Okay, so I finished stitching all the way around. Now I tied it, but I didn't cut it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff it, and then once I'm finished stuffing it, then I'm going to finish sewing the edge. Okay, so here's the body is all done. Of course, the stuffing is like everywhere. I decided to put a little cross on his booty. So there is the body of my terracotta baby. Yeah, that's it. Look at that. Kind of cute so far. Alright, so the next step that I'm going to do, so let's see, let me get the pieces. Put the body off to the side. I don't need that right now. So this is going to be my face of my terracotta baby and my hair. Now, in case you were wondering, well, don't you use the same? So here's the head that I cut the hole out of. Well, I cut this piece here bigger than the circle of that I cut out the hole in the head, because I want it to look like it's inside, not outside. That's why I don't do it I like this way, because it looks like the face is inside the green section versus if I did it this way, because then it looks like the face is outside of it. So that's why I cut this out a little bit larger than this, so I can slay it on here and then I'll be able to stitch it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the hair part here. I'm not going to worry about the top, I'm just going to do the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and probably stitch this on after I do the hair. I'm going to stitch this on. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do about the face. Alright, so I stitched the hair on first to the face. And then I stuck it underneath my head part. And I stitched it around. Now I'm going to make the face. So I was looking at my doll eyes and they're black and it looks kind of awkward with me trimming everything in brown. So I took some little brown pieces of felt and I cut little circles out. So these are going to be the eyeballs. I'm going to stitch these down and maybe put in an eyebrow or two and a little smiley face. Okay, so there's the face, and I put little knots in the eyes for highlights. Now when I did this one I did really good, but when I tried to do it again over here I kept pulling it through and I got frustrated, so that's as best as I could do the highlight on that one. Alright, so the next step would be taking the back of the head and the front of the head like so. But then while you're going to sew these together, you need to position it on the body. So the same way as we connected the arm to it, we need to sandwich the head of the body in that and sew all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, sew it to here, take the back, attach the back piece, and then start sewing all the way around. But then when I get to here, before I hit the body, I'm going to stop and I'm going to stuff it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start sewing, attaching this, and sew this section. Okay, so I got the head attached to it, which horrible stitching, I know, I had issues. Alright, so now we're going to line up the back of the head and attach and start sewing all the way around until I get about here. Okay, so I sewed all around. This is the back side and I left this opening, so I'm going to go ahead and stuff the head. And then once I stuff the head, I'm going to finish sewing up and sewing around and ending over here. Alright, so here's the little terracotta baby so far. Anyways, got her head on. So I don't know why this part is doing that. Maybe it's because of the stuffing. Try to get the stuffing to move around a little bit in there. But that's so far. Now I want her to have those droopy, the succulent that has the droopy, bloopy, I don't know what you would call it. So the teardrop shape, let me see if I could do this one-handed. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, so the teardrop shape, I made a whole bunch of these. I don't know how many I'm going to need since I've not made this before. I'm going to see how it goes while I'm making them. So I'm going to start here, stitch about to right here, stuff it with some stuffing, and then finish the stitching all the way around. So there's the piece that I stitch all the way around. I got some stuffing in it, so now I'm going to finish stitching it up. Alright, so there it is. Now you gotta do this times a whole bunch. Alright, so now I got 8 green ones, 4 creamy ones, and 3 blue ones. I'm gonna try for a variegated look. I don't know if that's enough, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna stick them all right there for now. Alright, so what I did, I cut just a thin strip of felt. Oh my goodness, I had a brain fart there for a moment. And what I'm going to do is, to start it, because I want them droopy, I'm going to take this green felt and fold it over. I'm going to say about right here is where I'll probably start it. And I'm going to fold it over and blanket stitch it closed up to the point of the drop. And then I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Oh yeah, and I changed my pants. I had to go outside and mess with something, and then I got dirt all over it, and I'm like, you know what, it's already fuzzy and yucky, so I changed my pants. Alright, so here I sandwiched that felt around the edge here onto the little teardroppy looking shape. So next one, it's not wanting to stand there for the camera. I'm going to add one of these, but I want to do it this way, and I want to fold the felt over, sandwich it on the end, this section here. So I folded it over and blanket stitched up, and now I'm going to do the same thing but fold it the opposite side and attach this and blanket stitch up. Alright, so there is, I got 2 of them on now. So you just continue alternating, going up, sandwiching the green felt around the edge and blanket stitching it together. And well, let's see how long I end up doing this, because I don't know how long every strand that I'm doing is going to be. It's going to be a surprise. Alright, so I got one little strand, and I got put her in the pot, and then I ended up putting it, well, since I'm holding it this way, it's going to be difficult, ain't it? I can't get it. Well, regardless to say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it about right there on this strand. I think that strand is going to be cute, and I'm going to attach it right here on her head. And then I'm going to do another, finish up a few more and attach them and see how I like the look of it. Alright, so here's all the I actually made enough. So 8 green ones, 4 cream ones, and then 3 blue ones. So this strip, I've got the blue, 2 cream, and 2 green. And then the other 2 strips, I got 1 blue, 1 cream, and 2 green on these 2 strips. And you can see that I attached them 1, 2, and 3. And then the last 2 that I had left over, I sewed them on the top for her little hairdo, which I think that looks kind of cute. And then if you take the terracotta pot here that she belongs in, I think she turned out pretty cute.